Welcome to our webinar. Our topic today is Infowise Ultimate Forms, creating and managing any business solution in SharePoint without programming. What is Infowise Ultimate Forms? It's a complete suite of SharePoint 2007 to 2013 add-ons. These add-ons can run on WSS or Foundation, and they do not require SharePoint Server, but obviously can support that as well. There are up to 15 different components included in Ultimate Forms, which allow you to perform 100% browser-based development in your SharePoint without using any external tools. No InfoPath, SharePoint Designer, or Visual Studio are necessary. And these components can also be purchased separately. So what does Ultimate Forms actually do? Well, it can take information from, for instance, from external sources, such as line of business applications or emails, import that information into SharePoint so it can be managed there. And when we manage this information, we can modify the way our forms look like. We can modify the way our views operate, for instance, adding color coding or adding view permissions, and we also add a set of web parts to again allow it to work with that data. Once we're done, we can export that data into external line of business applications, into emails, and print it out or convert it into PDF. So let's jump right into the demo, and we'll see these products in action and how we can configure them. Okay, so we're starting with a simple 2010 website. Again, as I was saying, it can support 2007, 2010, 2013 in any version. What we are going to be demoing here is basically two systems that are copies of actual system that we use internally. First one of them is the CRM system, where we can receive support or sales tickets from our customers, work on those tickets and complete them. And the other system is the invoicing system that allows us to produce customer invoices. So let's first start with the CRM system. Our main list here is support tickets list. It's an actual custom list, regular one, nothing special about it. So when I go and I create a new item in this list, what I can see now is that the form has been modified, this tab interface has been added to it, and you need to understand that this was done without using SharePoint Designer or InfoPath, and we'll see it in a minute. Now, you can see here that there are two tabs in this new form. Now, if I go and I open up an existing item, you will see that there are actually more tabs there. And that's another feature that allows us to assign permissions to different tabs. So tab can be read-only, writable, or even hidden based on conditions, based on who the user is. So let's jump right into the settings of this component. We just go into the list settings, and that's where all the settings are. And we can see here tabs and tab permissions. And here are all of our tabs. Now we can assign simply columns from our list to one of the tabs, and then we can also assign some permissions. So for instance, this tab is writable in new form, it's writable also in edit and view form unless the status is closed, and it's readable in all the other under all the other conditions, basically when the status is closed. If we go to handling tab, you will see that there's a different set of permissions here. So it's hidden on the new form, that's why we didn't see it. It's writable again unless the status is closed, and it's readable otherwise. Okay, fantastic. So now what we're going to do is we are going to add a new support ticket. Now, as I was showing you, we can add it directly from here, but in most cases the users will be actually emailing us with the details of their support request. So that's what we are going to be doing. So we're opening up Outlook and we're sending a message to the predefined account. Fantastic. Okay, so we're sending it to CRM and we're saying that we want Ultimate Forms demo. I would like demo, and we're sending it there. Fantastic. Now we can wait for the import process to kick in and import that email. Obviously, we're not going to be doing it now, so we'll just run it manually. This is a job that runs every 15 minutes and will import everything that comes in. And in a few seconds, the job will finish and we will receive our new ticket. Let's just refresh this list a couple of times. Hopefully it's already done. Not exactly, but let's try it again. Fantastic. So it's here, and you can see here that it also received a new item ID, which is again automatically assigned. And again, this is something that we can configure from here according to our own specific template requirements. So in this case, it's CRM, year of the when the ticket was created, and numerator. Great. So now what's going to happen is that our user, and in this confirmation, will be asked from the system to assign a category to this ticket. So I can support either assign it to sales or CRM manager is going to receive sales. So I'm basically writing CRM sales, and I'm sending it back to the same account. Please note the token for the ticket is here. It allows us to know which ticket we want to update. And also the category token allows us to know that this email, its purpose is to set the category. Okay, so just sending it back, and I'm going to run this job again to allow it to import this data as well. Great. Now let's see how this import actually works. Let's go back to the list and go into the list settings. And here we have the import settings. Now, as you know, SharePoint already has an incoming email functionality, but it basically not feature-rich enough for us to be able to do everything that we need to do. So we have a product that will actually allow us to import data from various sources, emails, databases, web services, and then we can do things with this information. Not only create new items, but also update existing items as well. So that's what we're doing here. And in this case, we're taking this information from an Exchange server, and we are going to run a set of actions. So the first action that's going to be running on new items is the one that creates a new ticket. So let's look at this one. And what it does here is basically maps the columns from the email to the columns in the list, and it only wants to import the items where the subject does not contain these two characters. And these are the same characters that we saw here in the email that were identifying an existing ticket. So once we've imported and now we are responding with setting the category, the other type of action is going to run, and this is an update list item action, and this action is going to update an existing item. So what it's doing is basically setting the category field to whatever comes in the body after this CRM prefix. So this is why we wrote CRM sales, and it's going to do that for the ticket where the ticket ID equals what we can extract from the subject line between these two signs. So this is basically this part over here. Great. And it does that only for emails that have this category token in the subject line as well. So because we can run different types of actions on our email, this particular one is for setting the category only. Great. So now let's go back to our support tickets, and we can see that the category has been set to sales. What we can do now is we can assign this ticket to one of the people responsible. So we can do it from here directly, or again we can do it in a simpler way using actions. So our actions allow us to do all kinds of things to your list items and beyond. In this case, I've set up an action called engage. You can access it from here, you can access it from the context menu, and you can even do it for several different items together. So let's just engage this one, and what's going to do is going to set the assign to value to myself, and it's going to change the status to engaged. Now we can continue working with the item. Let's set its due date. We expect to be finished in 2 days, so let's say Friday. So let's do it Monday. And we can also set a set of related tasks for this item. So for instance, I want someone to prepare the demo environment. And I'm going to assign this task to Mark, and he needs to do it by tomorrow. So tomorrow is going to be 22nd. Okay, so I can assign as many tasks as I want, and each task basically goes into a different task list. That's where the task resides, but I can manage it directly from its parent. So let's close, and also keep your attention here. There's a number of open tasks that automatically updates, and it's basically a summary field that allows us to count or summarize the related items. I can also see the related items directly from the parent list view. So for instance, I can open it up and see the items. I can also see the correspondence. All the email exchange that goes on for this ticket, it's all kept in this correspondence list, and it is connected to my ticket. So this list also imports emails that relate to correspondence. Okay, great. So next thing that we want to do, we want to, first of all, I want to show you how the tasks and the open tasks are set up. So again, let's go to the list settings, and we'll see the tasks. Tasks are of type Infowise associated items. And what this type of column does, it allows us to create relationships between different lists. So in this case, it goes to a list called tasks right here, and it creates a relationship with my current list. Doesn't have to be tasks, it can be any type of list or a document library, and that enables you to create this single to multiple or multiple to multiple relationships, which is obviously very important if you are creating an application. Now, once we have that, we can create another type of list of column called Infowise Associated Items Summary column. And what this column does, it can count or summarize items that are found in an associated items column. So in this case, we are counting the number of tasks where the status is not completed. So it's number of open tasks. The beauty about this column is that it updates itself automatically. You don't need to fill it out. Done with that, let's go back to our ticket, and now we want to mark this ticket as resolved. So basically doing it the same way, we're going to click on this resolve action button from the ribbon, and it does not work. Why? Because the ticket must be engaged, and it is, and there should be no open tasks. But we do have an open task, so let's first close this task again. We can do it directly from here, open it up, open the context menu, edit the task, and set it as completed, and you will notice that the number of open tasks is automatically updated to 0. Now we can successfully resolve this item. Fantastic. So let's talk about actions a little bit. You saw these actions here. We were able to do things with the item without actually having to access the item itself. Let's see what the actions do. Again, list settings, action settings, and let's see. So basically, these are all the actions that already exist in the list, and we have 15 different types of actions that you can run. You can update list items in current or remote list, and any list in any site collection basically. You can create list items, delete them, manage permissions, create sites, create lists, run database store procedures, web services, even manage Active Directory, and so on. Now, these actions can run, for instance, when an item is created, edited, deleted, based on a timer, meaning, for instance, 2 days before the due date of a task, or every Friday, or every third of the month. And you can also run actions from the manual, from the ribbon, from the context menu. And let's look at this engage action that we used. So this action is set as show as column, and it's added to the context menu and to the ribbon with this icon. Now what this action does, as we saw, it changes the assign to the current user. It sets the status to engaged. It does that for the current item, and it also requires that the item is initiated. If you go to the result, it would be that would be the same thing. So here we also expect the number of open tasks to be 0. Now, when these conditions do not apply, we can show our own message. So we can specify which type of message goes out. Fantastic. Now, with this resolution, we also received an email. So let's go back to our email account. And there should be a new email here that the support ticket has been resolved. And now we can reply to this email with yes or no to specify whether or not we want to approve this resolution. So I'm going to say yes, keeping it positive here, and I'm going to run the job again. Fantastic, and let's go back to the site. And in a few seconds, it's going to update the task and the support ticket, and it's going to actually remove it from this view, because this view only shows the open tickets. So what we saw here is the relationships, is the ability to run actions on items, and the ability to control the user interface and to interact through emails. Now let's go to the home page of our site, and we'll see some additional web parts that help us run this system more efficiently. So first of all, the small one over here is the chart web part. It connects to our support tickets list and shows us the average time it takes, the expected average time, and the actual average time it takes to handle the ticket. And it's subdivided according to the category. This web part allows you to see and allows you to visualize your data in 30 plus different types of charts, and it also allows you to connect incoming filters. So for instance, you can filter what data the chart is showing dynamically, and it also allows you to perform outgoing filters, meaning that you can drill into the data and show the data according to the type of category that you click on inside your chart. Now the big guy over here is the event calendar. It allows you to show events coming from multiple different sources, such as lists, such as exchange calendars, such as databases, and combine them all in one big calendar view, which is completely color-coded, which also allows you to switch between 7 different types of views, starting from a day to year. Gantt view as well. We can also filter it by the category. So for instance, I want only support tickets, and that's what I'm going to see. Let's show them all now. We can also view additional information when we pass our mouse over the item. Also, you can see here that we can see the assigned associated tasks. So for instance, in this case, we have 2 tasks. One is completed, the other one is not completed. You can even complete the task directly from within the calendar itself. And the last thing, we can also print the calendar. So if we click on the print button, you will see the print preview. You can now print it out, you can save it as a PDF, or you can send it to anyone as an email attachment. The small one over here is the list search. It allows you to find the items very easily. You can see that the search result preserve all of the additional functionalities such as the color coding, the icons, the progress bars. You also get the full context menu, so you can actually work with your item, you can filter it, and you can sort it from within the search itself. You can also select specific items and print them, or print them all, and you can also export them into Excel. And you also have the ability to have advanced search, where you specify conditions, and in these conditions you can even have the calendar, the list search help you with the possible values. So for instance, this is a choice field, so you only get to select the choices. You don't need to type anything manually. Or if it's for instance date field, then you will have the date picker helping you out here. Okay, so basically more or less, let's just go here and see if we, yep, and our ticket is gone. And more or less that's the CRM system. Obviously I'm not showing you all the configurations and all the little details that are possible. So let's just go and switch to the invoice system. Now the invoice system allows you to create invoices in a very advanced, very easy manner. So for instance, we are creating a new invoice, and now I want to assign it to a customer. I can select the customer, and that would obviously filter the contact persons for that customer. But I can also create a new one on the fly. So I basically edit here, and I say Forest Corp, and it's going to be 120 Green Lane, and it's going to be Toronto, Ontario. And that's going to be the shipping address as well. Save it. Now it's going to update it automatically. Now you can see that there are no contacts because we just created this customer. Let's add a contact again directly from here, and his name is going to be Smith, and his email is going to be jmin@invoice.com. Now we don't even have to select the customer, because the system already knows who the customer is, so we can just leave it blank and it will be filled out automatically. Great. Now you can see that this build to and ship to addresses have this little help icon here. Let's click on it, and it says leave them blank to fill in automatically with the details from the customer. Now this is just the description of the field, but you can control where the description is. It can be under the field name, or in this pop-up. You can also see these groups. They are similar to the tabs we saw earlier in the CRM system, and that's the flexibility that you have. You can show them as group, as tabs. You can have subsections. You can have blank lines between the column, between the fields. You can also place the name of the field, the label of the field above the field itself, and you can even have multiple columns within this form. All of these modifications are done within the browser, again not requiring you to open up SharePoint Designer and modify, or Infocast and modify the form. Okay, great. So we'll leave this one closed. Now let's add the items. Now we can create new items without having to save the parent item first. It's not something that's not possible in SharePoint, but it is with our tool. So we'll be creating some new line items. Let's start with furniture. Now our products are stored in an external database, non-SharePoint database, and this field basically allows you to get this information from that database. Okay, so we will have some chairs. So we're getting the information from the database, and we know the price of the chair as well. So let's take 12 chairs, and you can see that the values from SharePoint, from the external database, are now imported into SharePoint, and they can even participate in calculations within SharePoint itself. Let's add another line. and that's going to be on the tables. And again, getting the data, let's get 2 tables, $200 each, that's $400, and we're also going to be adding some tags. Okay, so you can also see here this field, which is the email address of my manager. Now, I can use this field to fill in any information from my profile, such as my phone number, my address, my manager, and any details about my manager. And I can also sign this invoice with my username and password to make sure that my details here are not changed by anyone. Let's save that, and you can see here that this item is added. We can view the item details here. It's this exact same component that we saw earlier with the task and the correspondence. And now let's print this invoice. So we can print it directly from the list, again from the context menu, from the ribbon button. We can create our own and manage our own print templates. And we can have our own headers. We can specify which fields we want. We can add these blank lines. We can also view all the color codings, all the related items, and so on. And we can have our own footer as well. Now all we need to do is print it, say this is PDF, and we can even see the PDF now in a second. And we can even send it directly to someone inside and outside of our organization. Okay, let's open and view the PDF file. It's exactly the same. And we can send it out like this. Fantastic. Now let's just see what else we can do. We can also add a button that says send to manager. So that would be an action button. Click on here, and this goes out automatically as a PDF to the manager. Let's just see how this configuration works. So first of all, we have this print settings, and we can see that we have several. We can have several print templates. So let's go into the details of this template. We can see that's an item template. We've assigned some columns here in the order that we want, blank lines as well. We have our own header and footer with some logos and so on. In the email settings, we can specify the default to and CC accounts and the subject line and the body of the email that will be used. And in the barcode section, we can specify that one of the columns will be a barcode or a QR code according to our specifications if we want. And now let's close this one, and we will see the actions that we also use here. There's one action that we are interested in particularly, and this is the send to manager action. This action simply, it's a print action, and what it does, it takes this item and it sends it to our manager, the email account that we got there, that we saw earlier, for approval. A couple of other actions that we can see here is the set bill to and ship to address. These are the ones that set the address from within the customer's details when this address was not filled in. The same goes for the ship to. And another one is update SQL. Now this one will actually run a store procedure on an external SQL database and pass the details of our invoice into that external database. And let's see how it worked. Let's open it up and let's refresh this table, and we should be able to see a new item, and indeed we see it. This is the item, and we got all the information inside this external database as well. Okay, so just one last thing that we did not see is how did we send these specialized emails in our CRM system. For that, again, we're using a replacement for the built-in alert engine, and this system allows us to create alerts that, first of all, can go out to anyone inside and outside of the organization. So you can specify recipient can be users, domain groups, distribution lists, users in columns such as, for instance, assigned to, modified by, so on, contact list, or any email address whatsoever. Can be sent when the item is added, modified, deleted, or again according to date and column, 2 days before due date, 1 day after due date, so on, with the repeat functionality. And we can also specify our own template, so we can design and send our own email templates according to what our needs are. So we basically write any format. We can add formatting and body and images, and we can also inject tokens. Tokens meaning the field names that can be then replaced with the actual field values, and we can even attach the documents and the attachments to the email to be sent out as well. That's how we basically configure everything to send the emails when needed, with the needed tokens in the subject line. Okay, so that basically concludes this overall overview of the Ultimate Forms and how it can be used to build to build business applications. Let's go back. And you can download 30-day trial from our website. You can try the interactive demos on the sandbox, where you can actually use it as a user would, and you can call us and contact us in many other ways. So thank you very much for seeing this webinar.